In this crash course, I'm going to show you how to use the Neve theme and the Feedzy plugin to create a news aggregator site that's specific to sports, that's going to pull in all of the content for you on autopilot. And then you can add ads to the site, you can sell things on the site, or you can build your mailing list and then sell through that. And all the content is going to be on autopilot. I'm even going to show you how to add your OpenAI key so you can rewrite the content that's pulled in via RSS from other sites. It's super slick. You're not going to want to miss anything in this video. There's timestamps down below for your convenience. Hi, I'm Bjorn from WPLearningLab. Now let's get started. This is our website as it stands right now. It's just a stock vanilla WordPress install. It has the 2025 theme running, which comes pre-installed when you install WordPress, and there's nothing here. And I built this site locally. You can tell by the domain name it's .local. I used an app called Local to do that. I've only ever used the free version of Local. There is a paid version as well, but the free version works just fine and great. If you want to know how to do this and build sites locally on your computer, it works for Mac, Windows, and maybe even Linux. I'll link to a tutorial in the card up above that shows you how I set up Local on my computer, so you can do that as well. So once we have the website up and running locally, and side note, when you're done the website locally, when you've completed it, you can then just migrate that out to a hosting account using various tutorials on my channel and on YouTube. Let's head into the dashboard for this site. This site is called the Daily Sports News, kind of an indicator of what we're building here. We want to install a couple things before we get started. We're going to install a theme and 3 plugins. So let's start with the theme. Let's go to Themes, or Appearance, and then Themes, Add New Theme. Let's type in Neve. This is a super popular, super clean and professional theme by Theme Isle. I'll tell you more about it in just a minute. Let's just get the stuff installed first. So this theme that we're installing is in the WordPress repository. It's free. We have the Pro add-on, which is a plugin that adds more features to it that we're going to install as well. But first I'm going to delete these WordPress themes. We don't need these running on the site. Taking up space, maybe adding vulnerabilities. Here's the Neve theme, ready to rock and roll. So the plugins we're going to add are the Pro add-ons for the Neve theme I just mentioned, and we're going to add the free Feedzy plugin and the Pro Feedzy plugin. Once I've added those 3, I'm going to show you more about what they offer on their websites. So we'll go to plugins and then add new, search for Feedzy, and this is the free version. It's built by Theme Isle, the same company that built the Neve theme. They work together like bread and butter. Click on install now when you're ready to install it. If you're doing this on a live site, you might want to back up your site first, just in case. I'm doing this locally, as you know. But on a live site, just in case something goes wrong, you're going to want to have a backup whenever you install new plugins or themes or do updates. If you need help with that, I'll link to a tutorial in the card up above. Click on Activate once you're ready to go. And then we're going to go to Add New Plugin. This time we're going to upload the plugin because we have the Pro version for Neve and Feedzy, which are downloads you get from their website. Let's go to Choose File. Here's the Feedzy plugin. Let's add that. Install now. Let's activate it. And then we'll do the same thing for the Neve plugin. Install now for that one. And now we have everything we need to start building. But before we do, let's quickly check out the Pro versions of Neve and Feedzy so you get an idea of what they can do and what they cost. On the Theme Isle website, you'll see Neve front and center. That's like their flagship theme. And then under plugins, we have the Feedzy for the RSS feeds. And you saw that we installed the free version of both of these. So you can get an approximation of what we're building in this tutorial using just the free versions, but we'll be able to do the exact thing we're building and have it way more powerful by getting the Pro versions of these plugins. And you can cruise through all the information here to see what the Neve theme includes. You're probably curious what the pricing is. For $69, you get up to 3 websites. And the fact that you can use the personal on 3 websites, that's quite reasonable. Usually it's only 1 website for the first tier for most plugins. And if we head over to the Feedzy RSS plugin, click on See Plans, this one's a good example of the first tier being only for 1 site, like we have here for $99, $199 for 3 sites, $399 for 50 sites, and it gives you these features down here. I'm not going to go over the features very much because in this video, you're going to see a lot of them. And if you want to know more, head over to these websites or this website and these pages. I'll link to them in the description down below for easy access, and then you can check out more features that they offer. Let's head back into the website, and we're going to install a starter site. These are provided by Neve. You can see under Neve and then dashboard, we have starter sites down here. I'm going to click on install and activate. And the starter sites are just going to allow us to get the website up and running faster. So I'm going to use news, or go to the news category, because we're building a news website. Lots of options to choose from. We're doing a sports news. None of these really fit that exactly, but that's okay because we can use any one of these as a starting point and then customize the design how we want it. I'm going to choose Blogger. Nice and minimalist, clean and simple. You can upload a logo here if you want. I kind of like just the text for the website name. You can choose color schemes on the left, and you don't have to be married to any of these. You can just pick whatever works right now. We can customize it later. Typography you can change as well. You can see from this typography to this one, it really changes the mood of the site. So pick the typography that you want to see. And again, this can be changed later on, not a big deal. Click on continue when you're ready. These first two, you have to have checked. The third one, image optimization, you're going to want to check that because that's important. It's probably going to install Optimal, which is another plugin that ThemeOwl creates. It's really good at image optimization. Caching for faster websites, yes, we want that. E-commerce, we are able to create a membership style site and accept payments with the Neve Pro. And in the case of a news site, you could limit access to certain types of news articles for only paying members. But we wouldn't need to check e-commerce for that. This would probably install WooCommerce. I'm not 100% sure, but I don't believe we need this option checked or the AI chatbot. I'm just going to check these two. These ones I can't check or uncheck. Then click on Import Site. Start import, and in a few moments, the site's going to be built. So I'll just pause this video and I'll be back when it's done. It's all done. I'm going to skip and view so we can see how the site looks. And there it is. Exactly how it looked. Well, we didn't see this part, but the top part looks exactly how it looked in the preview. I'm sure this is exactly as it was as well. What other pages do we have? We've got home, about, and news. News is basically a blog in this case. In most cases, actually. It's just a blog that has more content faster than most of the blogs. So our site is ready to go. We've got all the plugins installed that we need. We have a theme chosen with a template, and it's time to start gathering the feeds that we want to add to Feedzy to pull in the data. So let's go into the dashboard again. And when we install Feedzy, we have this option right here. Let's do it later for connecting to Optimal. In fact, I have a tutorial for connecting to Optimal if you want to see that. I'll link to that in the card up above as well. So under Feedzy, we've got lots of options here. Import posts is maybe the most important one. Nothing else really happens until you're importing posts. Very likely to recommend. It's great. Send. All right, that's out of the way. So to import posts, we're going to click on New Import. We're going to give this a name. Let's call this NFL. And we're going to pull in, hopefully, if we can find some RSS feeds, we're going to pull in NFL news. And we use Google to find our feeds. So let's go to Google and type in NFL news. As you saw by the suggestions, I've practiced this or tested it a little earlier. So we want to find RSS feeds. So let's open this one, NFL.com. It's really easy to find WordPress sites that have RSS feeds, but most of the major websites, they structure their RSS differently than WordPress does. So let's see if we can find some feeds that are not WordPress based. Let's open up all these. CBS, NBC, not Reddit. We want actual news articles about the latest stuff, not X either in this case. Who else do we have? Football Zebras? Sure, why not? All right, so what we're looking for is an RSS feed icon, which is like a little orange circle with kind of a Wi-Fi symbol inside of it. And when you don't find one, we have to check in the source. Or you can even skip looking for the RSS icon, just go straight to the source. Right-click anywhere on the page in a white area that isn't pictures or text or anything, an empty area. Click on View Page Source, and then press Command or Control F and search for RSS. On NFL.com or on this specific page, there are none. You can also search for Atom, also none. So it's unlikely that NFL.com has an RSS feed we can tap into. So let's close NFL.com. Let's try the same thing for Yahoo. Command or Control F, search for RSS. And there we have it. RSS plus XML, RSS feed. Bada bing, bada boom. There it is right there. So we want to copy the URL that's inside the href tag. We don't want to copy the quotes or anything. Just copy the URL. Paste that right in here under feed sources and click on plus. Now we know Yahoo Sports has RSS feeds. We might come back to Yahoo Sports later to find feeds for different sports as well, because we can have subgroups on our website. It doesn't have to be just NFL. We can have every sport on our website. Because once it's set up, it's all automated. Why not? Why not have as many as you can? So Yahoo is good. How about ESPN? Page source. Search for RSS. Nothing. Search for Atom. Nothing. ESPN is unlikely to give us a feed. Do it again for CBS. Search for RSS. One showed up. Where is it? No, there happens to be a sequence of characters RSS in there, but it's not an RSS feed. Atom, no. NBC. We're striking out a lot so far. And like I said, this is way easier to do with WordPress-based sites. I'll show you how to find WordPress-based sites in just a second. There's a neat trick you can do. RSS. Oh, wait. Oh, we got one. Football Zebras has one. This might be a WordPress site, in fact. So Football Zebras. It looks like a good site, though. Looks super clean. All right, so Football Zebras has one. We'll paste that in here. You can also separate them by commas before you click plus, and it'll add all the RSS feeds. But I'll just add the plus or click the plus as I find them. So now what we can do is search in this structure. We're searching for NFL news. Then we add the word and in quotes, powered by WordPress, which is a footprint of WordPress websites. If we go to, was it this one? No, this one, sportico.com. If I came here, I wouldn't think WordPress site. I'd think it looks pretty solid. But at the very bottom, it says down here, powered by WordPress.com, in which case they probably have a feed. Let's view page source and search for RSS. And there's the RSS feed. There's an NFL specific one here, and this is for the overall website. So I'll pick the NFL specific one. Let's copy that. Put that in there. Now we have 3 feeds. That's a lot to pull in data. And that's a lot of feeds already. Let's see if we can find one more that's WordPress based. Let's see how this one looks. I want to pick the ones that look really clean. Like the one we just found a moment ago looks really clean. This one also looks pretty good. We've got the NFL category, and there's a basketball picture here. So I'm not sure if their categorization is working out well. The rest is all NFL, though. Right in the bottom right here, it says powered by WordPress, or proudly powered by WordPress. So they have a feed. Let's find it. Usually you can just add feed to the end of the URL, but I prefer to go in here just to make sure you've got the right spot. So there are 3 RSS feeds. One is for the overall site, one is for the comments, and one is for the NFL. And if they have an NBA section, for example, you don't see that feed here because you're not on that page that has that feed. So you have to go to the NBA page. Let's go to NBA. I'll show you what I mean. If we view the source on NBA, we see here it's a different feed. It has NBA instead of NFL. So you got to make sure you're on the appropriate page. One last thing. The other 2 are the same because they're for the overall website. So you got to make sure you're on the right page for the exact feed that you want. Now we have a bunch of RSS feeds that can pull in data and content on a daily basis. So once we have those in, we can go to filters. This is part of the pro version of Feedzy. This isn't on the free version. So we can include content if all the conditions are met or any of the conditions are met. And we can add conditions. And so the content we're going to try to match for our conditions is the title content, description, the full content, the author, the date, the featured image. So if we choose the title and we wanted, for example, it contains value of NFL, then it would only pull in content that has the phrase NFL. Or you could have like a Steph Curry or LeBron James category, and you could have this title contains LeBron, and then it will only pull in content that has LeBron in the title. That's a pretty cool thing to do. In this case, I'm not going to choose any conditions, but it's definitely an option. Under map content, we choose which post type we want the post to be. I'm going to choose post, or you create custom post types some other way. You can have a custom news post type if you wanted, and just have that as the post type that the posts go to. For the post taxonomy, you can assign categories automatically with this shortcode here, or you can pick a category. Currently on this site, all we have is uncategorized blog. I don't think category is a category. No, it's just the title. So uncategorized and blog is all we have. Or when the content's pulled in, it's going to create a category for us. I don't want to do that. I actually want to create custom categories for the NFL, the NBA, the whatever else we want to pull in. So I'm going to just remove that, put it as uncategorized for now. After we save this page, we'll add the categories under posts and then categories, and then we'll add the appropriate one in here. For post status, they're going to automatically publish. You can also save them as draft. Then somebody has to review them and then publish them at a later date after they're reviewed. Publish will publish them right away. The post title, this shortcode or this parameter in here means that the title of the post on the website you're pulling from is going to be inserted right here. We can insert other tags as well. There's options over here, including author, date, time. You can add spin tags here. So if we were to add curly brackets and say news, pipe character, update, maybe add a colon, and then every time a new post is pulled in, it's going to pick either news or update to put in front of the title. So you can do it like that if you wanted. Using the actions in here, click on add new. We can also trim the title, translate it with Feedzy. We can search and replace various things. The most interesting ones on here are spin using Spinner Chief, spin using Word AI, or rewrite with AI. We'll connect rewrite with AI with ChatGPT later on in the tutorial. So then when the title comes in, it's going to be rewritten and not an exact duplicate of what you pulled in from the other websites. For now, I'm just going to leave this as it is here. Post date, I'm just going to leave this blank. That should pull in whatever the date is that the day it's published. So I'm just going to leave this as blank. For the content, this is going to pull in the content from the post from the RSS feed. For the image, this is going to pull in the image from their website. Click on General Feed Settings. We can remove duplicates. So if multiple websites in your feed are creating or posting the same article in the same relative time, you just pick one of them, remove all the duplicates. The auto delete feature allows you to set how long the content lives on your site. If you have 0, it lives forever. They're not going to be deleted. But this is a news site. How long ago do you read the news from? For example, if you are into the NFL, are you reading NFL news from 30 days ago? From 60 days ago? Probably not. So you can choose whatever you want here. You can have 10 days. So every day, anything that's older than 10 days is automatically deleted. It keeps your website lean, clean, and it keeps your content fresh. You should also delete the image whenever you delete a post because that takes up server space. You don't need to have images from old posts stored on your site. You can have a fallback image. So if you're trying to pull an image but it doesn't work or the post doesn't have one, you can have a default image here. For the items count, this is how many items you want to import from the source. If you choose a high number, it might fail. So 10, I believe it's going to pull in 10 from all 4 feeds combined. So it's going to pick a couple from each. We'll find out in just a minute. You can also schedule the import so you could have it run every day at 5 a.m. and bring in the new data. You just pick the first time and day to run here, and then you can choose what interval to run in. After setting up all that, we can click on Save and activate importing. So now to pull in the content, all we have to do is click on Run Now, because I didn't schedule it to run. So every time I want new content, I have to click on Run. But before I do that, we need to set up the categories for the NFL posts to go into. So if I go to Posts and then Categories, I'm going to choose NFL News for the name. Slug will be NFL News. Click on Add New Category. Now we have the NFL News category. I'm just going to add a couple more. So we have 4: NFL, NBA, MLB, and NHL. We're going to assign the NFL one to our NFL feed imports here. So click on Edit under that. Go down to Map Content. Change from uncategorized to NFL News. Click on Save. And then when we add NBA and MLB and NHL as import sources here, you can then assign the appropriate category for those posts to be published. I will do that off camera in just a second because I want to flush out this website and have a lot of content on it, and I want to have those other sports in there as well. But before we do that, let's check out our posts currently. So we have no posts here. Excellent. Over on the right-hand side, under the Feedzy Import Posts page, we're going to click on Run Now for the NFL. And this is going to pull in NFL posts. It's successful. Click on Refresh, and it shows we found 10. So it does pull 10 from those different sources. So if you wanted to pull, say, 10 from each, you could probably enter 40 in that line item, which was down here. Under General Feed Settings, change this 10 to a 40. And I feel like it's going to pull in 10 from each one. I could be wrong. It might pull in 30 from one and only 10 from the other 3. I don't know. Or if you really wanted to be really specific about how many to pull in from each source, you could have a different entry here for every source. I lumped those 4 RSS feeds together into NFL, but you could break them out individually as well. So we have a problem with the status. 8 out of 10 items don't have an image. It's not that big of a deal. Let's go to Posts. Refresh. And we have all the posts here under NFL News. Let's click on View. There's a big title. No image. That's a small bit of content there. Let's see if we can find this actual post. Search for that inside quotations, and here we have NBC Sports under News. We didn't find an RSS feed for NBC Sports, so it must have come from one of the other websites. But it has 4 paragraphs, this exact content inside of our post over here. What it didn't pull in was the video. Would have been nice to have that video embedded as well. But if you really wanted to be on top of things, you could come into your site and do that manually afterwards as well. So I'm just going to pause this video, and I'm going to add more RSS feeds for the NBA, the NHL, and the MLB, so we can add more content to our site. Then when we develop our site later, change the design, change the menu up here, we're going to have more content to be able to deliver to our visitors and have it like an actual serious news website. So let's pause this video while I add some more of these guys, and I'll be right back. Okay, I've added all of them. We have the NBA, MLB, and NHL in addition to the NFL now. And I only use the Yahoo RSS feed just to keep things quick and easy. I'm going to click on Run Now for each of these and start importing content. They all worked. Let's refresh and see what the status is. These all got check marks. So I guess they all had images too. I guess the 8 that didn't have images, those were not from the Yahoo RSS feed. Probably pulled from one of the other ones. If we go to posts now, we see we have NBA news, MLB news, NHL news. Let's change the number of items per page so we can see all of them. There's NHL, NFL. Awesome. All there. Now if I go out to the front of the website and go to the home page, there is nothing really there. The news page has some stuff, but it's random. No pictures. Do these new ones have pictures? Didn't actually check. Let's view this one. No picture, even though it got a check mark for having a picture. Or didn't get a check mark for having a picture. Go back to the Feedzy import status. So I assume that this warning here would said we didn't find an image for 8 out of 10. I assume since we had check marks here, it did find images, but I guess that's not 100% true. In any case, we have the posts in. You're going to have to add your own images maybe for some of them, or have AI create images for you. Now that we have content being pulled in, and if you set a schedule on the feed, so it'll be new content on whatever your set schedule is, we now need to make it look nice on the website. This does not look very nice. So what I want to do is create a dedicated page for every sport and then also have information pulled into the homepage. And I'm even going to show you how to bypass the feed setup we did here and just put feeds directly into a block on any page you want to easily customize pages and make them look exactly how you want them. So first we're going to make some pages. So we're going to make under pages, and then add new. I'm going to make an NFL news page. And for the block, I'm going to choose a query loop because I want the blog posts on this website to be pulled in. Why I'm making that distinction, you'll see in a few minutes. So I'm going to choose, actually, you know what? I'm not going to use a query loop. I'm going to use a pattern instead. And I'm going to go to post. So you have a post pattern, and it's going to pull in post content for us. Let's choose one. The fonts are so big on these things. Let's choose this one. Now our news pulls in this information here, but I want to make the font a little smaller. It's way too big. Let's make it 2 columns only. Let's see if we can change the heading size. The title, medium, there we go. It applies to all of them. That's good. So that looks a lot better. If you click on the title, it'll go to the actual post on the website. And if images were pulled in with the feeds, it would have images in here as well. But for now, this is what we have. NFL news. I'm going to publish that. An important thing we have to do is specify where these posts are being pulled from. So if we back up to the query loop, which is this symbol right here, under settings, we can choose the post type, which is a post. We can choose the ordering, the newest one at the top. That makes the most sense to me. And down below, for our filters, we can base our filters on taxonomy and choose a category. So I'm going to choose NFL, NFL news. So now only NFL news is going to be pulled in on this page. I'm going to increase the posts per page to 10. And now I'm going to create 3 more of these pages. Another one for the NBA, then one for the NHL, and then one for the MLB. I could install a duplicating plugin, a page duplicating plugin to make my life easier, but I won't in this case. I'm just going to go to here and then go to copy and then paste that into a new page. And that should be pretty fast too. So I'll pause this video while I do that and I'll be right back. Okay, we're all done. We have MLB, NBA, NFL, and NHL news ready to rock and roll. Now I want to add this to our menu system. Right now our menus are just this. I want to have news not be a link to the news page, just to exist. And then when you hover over it, it's going to have a sub menu of the different sports. So let's go to appearance and then menus. And if you're trying to make this happen with a theme other than Neve, you might not have menus under appearance because for the latest block themes, that option's gone. If you find that's true for what you're working on, click in the card up above. There's a tutorial there that'll show you where the menus have gone for block themes and how to do the same type of process I'm doing here, but in a block theme, which is different than we're doing here. So we see under pages, we have our new pages here. We could also get here through categories and just have our categories added. The reason I chose pages was because with pages, we can go in the block editor and actually edit the layout and things, whereas categories are just lists and they just exist. If you have something like the Pro version of Elementor or you have some coding chops, you can create your own customized categories layout, but mostly you can't. But you can with pages. So I'm going to choose these 4 options right here and click on Add to Menu. So it's going to add all those pages we made with those specific sports. And I'm going to drag and drop these under News, but indented, so they're going to be sub-items. There we go. Click on Save Menu. And now when we go back out to the website here and refresh, oh wait, one more thing. Not done there. We want to make this news one not a menu item. So I'm going to remove this. And I'm going to add a custom link. Just put a hashtag and the word news. Add to menu. And we're going to do this again. Indent all these. Save. Otherwise, if someone were to click on news, it would be an actual link they click on and they go away to the news page instead of seeing the drop-down menu, which is not appearing. Why is it not appearing? Oh, this is the footer. So we're in the footer menu. We want to have it in the main menu, but it might as well be on both, right? Let's see what the footer looks like. It's not even down there. Okay, let's do that exact same thing under the main menu. Remove this, add a custom link with a hashtag, call it news, add our pages, indent them under news, move news up to behind the home or next to home, save it, and now it should be a drop down. There we go. We have all our separate pages for all the different sports. And it looks pretty boring without the images. Unfortunately, the images weren't pulled in with the feeds. In this case, for some of them, they will be. And I'm going to show you how to use a feed directly on a page. I mentioned this earlier. It's going to pull in images for that. But the benefit of doing it this way is if you click on here, it goes to the actual page on your blog, all of which you can customize. You can have ads on here. You could have calls to action, get on your mailing list, you could sell things, and it all stays with you in your ecosystem. The other way I'm going to show you in a minute, it links out to the actual post creators page, not yours. Before we do that, we also don't want to copy the post creator exactly. If we're going to have this content living on our website and our ecosystem, we're going to want to customize it because this is an exact copy of someone else's title. The content in here is an exact copy of someone else's content. But luckily we can rewrite it. Or not we, Feedzy, with the help of various tools. If we go back into the dashboard, go to Feedzy and then integration, we see a couple of integrations here. Word AI, Spinner Chief, Open Router I'm not familiar with, but Open AI I am. You can add your keys in here and it will rewrite your content. So I'll click on this link right here. It's going to open up the API key area for my OpenAI account. I'm going to make a new API key. I'm going to call it Feedzy. Leave it on our default project. Create secret key. Copy that. Don't tell anybody what the key is. Paste it into here. Click on validate and save. API status is valid. Super. Now we can go into our import posts and then edit every single one of these in the same way I'm going to show you right now. Under map content, we're going to have to change the post title or the item title and the item content. If we click on them or click on these little bars here, we can click on add new for actions. We want to rewrite with AI. Depending on who you integrate with, if you chose Spinner Chief to integrate with or Word AI, choose those. I'm going to choose rewrite with AI. Open AI, I guess Open Router is an AI to rewriter as well. Open AI is what we have here. And I think this prompt right here is pretty good. So content pulls in the actual content, in this case, the title. And I'm saying here, rephrase and it pulls in the content for better SEO. Sounds good to me. For the item content, I'm going to do the same thing. For better SEO, save actions, change this to 2 for the item count. So it's going to pull in 2 items and then rewrite them. I have to click on purge and reset, and we're going to pull in 2 new items. Run now. And not only are we pulling them into the website, but we're rewriting them using OpenAI. Wait for it. It's going to take a little longer in this case because we're connecting with OpenAI to rewrite these things. That was successful. Let's refresh to see what we have here. 2 imported. Super duper. Let's go to posts. These are the 2 most recent ones here. I wonder how we can easily find the originals. Well, this came from we know the page. It came from this RSS. So the first one we have here, the title is NHL Playoffs, Skinner Kachuk. Let's see what we have for a post. Key players to watch in the NFL playoffs. Skinner and Kachuk lead the charge for the cup. The original title was NHL Playoffs, Skinner Kachuk headline new faces to watch in the NHL chase. So that was rewritten, and the content is rewritten in a similar fashion. The second post was every NHL team's Masterton Trophy nominee revealed. Our rewrite says 2023 Masterton Trophy nominees for every NHL team revealed. Why it says 2023, I don't know. Was this published in 2023? Can't be. No, April 9th, 2025. So I don't know why I pulled out 2023, but that's definitely not good for SEO. So that's a thing. I'm not sure how to get around that besides coming in and actually having a look at the content your site's creating. And if we view these, this is the rewritten content, and it's rewritten to be unique. It reads like AI though, because our prompt was pretty basic. So it's going to read like AI, and at least it's not going to be an exact copy of what the other websites are posting. And let's see how much that costs. Let's go to OpenAI. Let's go to usage. So I believe it's 1 cent per 1,000 tokens. 1,000 tokens is about 750 words, if I'm not mistaken. So we have over here the actual cost we just spent to rewrite those 2 posts, less than a penny. I'd say it's pretty good. So now we have content being pulled in automatically on a schedule if you set that in the Feedzy settings, and it's being rewritten. So it's fresh content every day. The only thing is it's not pulling in the images. But something else you can do is incorporate the RSS feeds directly into a page. So if we go to pages and then to the home page, for example, let's delete this area. Let's try to find a good spot to do this, or a good template. Let's use this one, NFL News. And in here, I'm going to delete that. We're going to add a new block. This is going to be the Feedzy block, or the Feedzy loop. Put that right in there under NFL News. And we're going to input our Feedzy URL for, it's over here, for the RSS feed, in this case, the NFL feed. This is the same feed we used to create some of the NFL posts using the Feedzy settings that automatically creates blog posts. This is the same URL, but this is going to work a little bit differently because it's going to link to the website or the post creator's site, but not your blog, if that makes sense. I think it'll make sense in a minute. So we have that RSS feed. Click on validate to make sure it actually works. You can paste it in here if you want and check it. Looks like, sorry, this feed does not validate. However, if we load the feed, let's use the cards, it loads the content. Maybe it didn't validate because it's pulling up, doing those 2 images there. But we have the content being pulled in. Let's change the settings a little so that it is a little easier to see. I want to change how many columns, number of items, 3, and it's 3 columns. And we can have a feed caching time of 12 hours, which means every 12 hours, it's going to go out and try to find new content. If you change this to 1 hour and you have a lot of these running, it can really drain your server resources. So pick one that is smart and appropriate. I'm going to choose date descending. That should be the most recent one to the oldest one in that order. Let's save that. And then I'm going to duplicate this. Yeah, there we go. Let's change this to NBA news. Change the feed. Where's the feed? I want to change the feed. Well, let me change the feed. So we have to delete the Feedzy loop here. Let's delete that and put it back in. Feedzy loop right there. Paste in that feed. Change NHL to NBA. Load feed. Choose the card again. Let's save that now that we have 2 of them here. And let's check out the homepage once that's saved. We've got the NFL news there. The NBA news there. And I believe the NHL news, for some reason, pulled in the content appropriately. I'm going to move these to the very top of the page because I want the news front and center. We're a news organization here. There we go. Let's make another one. Make this one NHL. Let's delete this one and put it back in. NHL. Perfect. Load feed. Let's choose round instead of the card. This one pulls in the images properly. Why the other ones don't, I don't know. But the NHL does. Change number of items to 3. We see here shortcodes for content, the title, metadata, and the description. If we go to this link I clicked on earlier, Feedzy loop documentation, you can have all this information pulled in to that loop, which is pretty cool. And there's a lot more to do in the documentation as well. I'll link to this in the description down below. So the NBA, the NFL, mostly one image was pulled in for the NFL, and NHL pulled in all the images for all three of those. But if we go to our homepage now and refresh, we now have our NFL news pulled in right there, NBA news pulled in right there, NHL news pulled in right there. And keep in mind, these are not the posts that are on your site. This is the RSS feed directly, and it links to the original creator of these posts. So if I click on this one, it goes to thehockeynews.com. If I click on this one, it goes to thehockeynews.com. And this one, is it the same spot? Thehockeynews.com. Yes, it is. But if you recall, this is pulled from the Yahoo RSS feed. Where did these go? NBC Sports, and Yahoo Sports. So these major organizations are pulling in this content, and I guess it's okay because they link back to the originals, as we saw right there. And I guess that's okay then. I guess they're not really mad at you for doing that. But if you want to be really safe, you would use the Open API key to rewrite the posts. As we saw with under news and NHL, we saw these two right here that we rewrote. And this is with the glaring error of 2023, even though down here it has 2025. It's weird. But these ones, you click on these, it goes to the post on your site. So it stays within your ecosystem, and you can have ads, sell stuff, what have you. And that's how you pull in feeds, and you can create a site based on news feeds that you pull in from other sources. There are some other details you might want to be aware of though. Under Feedzy and integrations, or integration, you can pull in Amazon products. And I don't have an Amazon account, at least not this type of account, that will allow me to pull in products like this. But this documentation here on Feedzy, how to display Amazon products using Feedzy, I'll link to it in the description down below. It pulls in the image, the title, the description, and it has actual posts that are posted on your site, and you can have your affiliate links embedded in these posts, which is definitely a way that you can make money using Feedzy and just having the stuff auto-posted. But you also don't want to be a spam blog. Google doesn't like it when you have blogs with lots of pages or a website with lots of pages and most of them get zero traffic. That's not a great thing in Google's eyes. So it's kind of a fine line whether you want to just pound your website full of the latest Apple MacBook Air listings from Amazon or even the latest news listings from wherever, because low traffic pages don't make Google happy. But either way, this is definitely an option to add some products to your website through Amazon. If you got value from this video, hit the like button and the subscribe button, then ring the bell to let me know. And then check out this video that's on the screen right now. It's all about speeding up your news aggregator site. Make sure you check that out because you want to have a fast website, because fast websites rank better in Google. It's proven. So make sure you check that out, and I'll see you there.